We're going to look at naming cells now. Sometimes it's easier to give cells a meaningful name, for argument's sake, tax rather than an A5 or whatever it is you're looking at that time. But remember that only one name can be used for the whole of the workbook. So if you put it onto this particular worksheet, you can't name any other cell that name at all, but you can use it on all the worksheets within this workbook. Okay, so let's show you an example here. So if I wanted this cell to be referenced as weeks because it's about the number of weeks, I place the cursor on the cell. And this is by far the simplest way. I simply click up here into the cell reference box and change it from being known as B2 to weeks and enter. And on to the next one now, which is here. I want this cell to be known as the cost because that's what it's all about. So again, up into the reference and change this to costs and enter. So now let's do this formula by using cell names as opposed to cell addresses. So let's do this formula now, and I'm going to use cell names as opposed to cell addresses. So this is going to be equal to weeks multiplied by costs and enter. And there we have it. All right. So just to show you that we can use that elsewhere, I'm just simply going to go over here to sheet 3. I'm just going to click in here, and it goes to say that this cell here is equal to costs, just to show you that you can use it anywhere else. So there's the cost there. So if I go back to single cells and change this cost per week from 50 to, let's say, 62.58, so let's make it quite difficult, and let's go back to sheet 3.3, you can see it there. All right, so just to show you that it is definitely using names as opposed to anything else. So let's go to multiple cells now, and let's say we want to call all of these after these words here. So I want to do it in a complete multiple way as opposed to doing them one at a time. So I would just simply highlight the two cells areas together. I will go over to formulas, and in here I have name manager, etc. up here, but I'm going to do create from selection, and I'm going to say create names from the values in the left column. So there's only two columns, one left, one right, so basically it's going to be created from here to equal whatever is in this particular column here. So left column, yes please, okay. So if you now click on here, you'll see that this is known as cabling, connectors, etc. So if we do total cost, that's simply going to be equals this cell multiplied by this cell and enter. So as you can see, it's cabling as opposed to B3 now. And clicking on this, get our black copy cross, and on we go. Okay, so that is just how to name a cell or how to name multiple cells. And also, obviously, you now understand what a name is, so that if you actually open up a spreadsheet that doesn't belong to you and you see these names, you know where they're coming from. That's the end of naming cells.